Girls, are you ready? Form up into a line behind Lavinia. It was Sunday, which meant that it was time to go to church. I wasn't religious, and most of the people at Iris Academy were Wiccan, but apparently some witches and wizards in the magical community still believed in the Christian doctrine. I never wanted to seem critical of someone's beliefs, and it was a chance to get out and see more of London, and so I kept silent. Tori, dear, Miss Minchin says as she turns to address me privately. Our usual custom is to walk to and from church every Sunday when the weather permits. This allows the horses a day to rest and ensures that students receive regular exercise. There was no sports club here, and that was something that I immediately despised. There was only dance class, where I was to be trained in the art of how to waltz and ballroom dance, and how to be seen as a graceful presence on the dance floor. I didn't even think that Hieronymous knew how to dance, and I didn't know when we'd even have to go to a dance, but perhaps I would be grateful for these lessons in the future. It is important to look your best when we are walking out amongst the public, Miss Minchin continues. We want our school to always leave a good impression. You should follow Lavinia's cues. She will show you what to do. Lavinia is always a model student, and you can learn a great deal from her. As her father also holds a government seat, I'm sure you two will soon become close friends. Now, go and stand in line behind her. I make my way to the front of the line, where Jessie is standing close behind Lavinia. What are you doing? Lavinia asks as she flips her hair back behind one shoulder. Go to the back. Miss Minchin asked me to stand behind you, I say, keeping my face as straight as possible. I was just doing what I was told. Oh, very well then, Lavinia says with a sigh. But that's my place, Jessie pouts as she folds her arms over her chest. Come on, Jessie. You wouldn't want to disobey Miss Minchin, would you? Lavinia asks, but the way her eyes flash, it almost sounds like a challenge. Remember, we have to show our new girl how to behave herself in church. She may never have even seen one. Do they have churches in America? Quite a lot of them, I tell her, keeping my expression absolutely deadpan. Although I'm sure English services are probably quite different, so I'll be sure to pay attention. I had been to only a few church services when I was younger, but they seemed pretty much the same. I hated that I was going to lose about 90 minutes of my Sunday morning to this ritual, but at least it was better than waking up at 5 in the morning to do my treasury duties. Now that I'm here, I wonder who will be the new treasurer. Would Jacob stay secretary, or would he run for the treasury position? Or would Manuel finally get a chance to prove himself? When I get back, I notice that I have a new letter waiting for me, but before I can go over to take a look at it, I hear a knock on the door. I open it to find Miss Minchin standing there with another woman. Bonjour, mademoiselle, the woman says. She's wearing a traditional maid's outfit. The starchy white collar stands in stark contrast to her dark skin, and her black hair falls in neat curls around her shoulders. Before I can speak, Miss Minchin literally hisses through her teeth, and the woman in the maid's uniform falls silent. Tori, Lord Grabiner arranged for a maid to be employed specifically for your needs. She has just arrived. I believe she is from France. Her name is Mariette, and she will be living in your rooms, helping you with your clothing and following any requests you require. Please use her as your liaison with the staff. If you have need of food, send your maid. Do not approach cook directly. I've already learned my lesson with Potsdam. Yes, Miss Minchin, I say obediently. She seems about to leave when she turns back to me. And don't let her fool you. She does speak the Queen's tongue. With that, she sweeps out of the room, shutting the door behind her. Hi there, I say brightly. Then, with a pause, Bonjour, Mariette. Je m'appelle Tori. Comment allez-vous? Très bien, merci. Marriott replies with a smile. I am pleased to see that you are just as Lord Grabiner described. Which Lord Grabiner? I ask. Aloysius or Hieronymus? Of that I am not sure, she says as she looks at me. Ah, that is la robe that I selected for you at la boutique. Do you like it? I pull off the edges of the dress and do a little twirl. Oh, you're the one that picked it out for me? Yes, I do. Thank you. It's very nice. It matches my hair. Oui, I was told you were very fond of the color bleu, she says as she smiles at me, and I smile back as I pull my long blue hair over my left shoulder. Marriott, is it okay if I ask you a few questions about yourself? Bien sûr, mademoiselle, she replies. What do you wish to know? What part of France do you come from? I ask. I know I've told Lord Grabiner in the past that I always wanted to visit France, as I studied French at school for several years, but I never had an opportunity to. Ah, I grew up in Limoges, she tells me. You may have heard of Limoges box, the porcelain? I just shake my head. They were famous once. Perhaps they will be again. For now, like much of the Limoges, they have faded. What's it like there? I asked, sitting down at my desk. Ah, it is a city, like anywhere, she explains, although not as big as London or Paris, no. Is it near Paris? I ask. Non, pas très proche, she explains. It is in the south. You must rely on the railways to travel between them. All trains lead to Paris. And all roads lead to Rome. I quit. The only things I know of France are what I've seen in pictures. Stone houses, arches, green hills, hanging vines, and lots of natural sunlight. I knew that people always said that London was rainy and drab and gray, but I don't know, I always thought that it was an exaggeration. Marriott just nods and I continue. So, do you mind if I ask, why did Lord Grabiner select you for this position? Have you met Lord Grabiner before? No, we have never met in flesh and blood, she explains. Lord Grabiner is a gentleman, and he knows many other gentlemen in fine cities like Paris. When it happened that he wished to appoint you a maid, he wrote to this Paris gentleman to describe you, and I have a cousin who works for this Paris gentleman, and he thought of me, and so the arrangements were made, and I am glad they were. I can't help but smile at her. She seemed nice enough. I hated that she probably had to leave her own family behind to take care of me, but at the same time, I didn't know what her family situation was like. Maybe she didn't have a family anymore either. I will let you get back to your work, she says with a neat curtsy. Please let me know if there's anything you require. Thank you, I say politely. I still wasn't sure how I felt about having a maid, but at least she seemed nice. I sit down at my desk, and in my heart of hearts, I hope it's a letter from Hieronymus, but I'm not disappointed to see that it's actually a letter from Virginia. Tori, what on earth happened this summer? The second I got to school, I got the note that you left me saying that you were expelled, but you were being transferred to a girls' school in London so you wouldn't have to lose your magic, and that Ellen almost died going into the other world because some spirit told her to. I didn't give her any orb. I had to let Potsdam look through my memories to confirm it, but I never gave her anything. Apparently, someone left it on Ellen's bed one day over the summer with a note saying it was from me. I don't know who gave it to her, but it doesn't matter now, I guess. I kept warning Ellen that she was going to get expelled if she didn't listen, so while I'm sad that she had to lose her memories of us, I really just wish that she had listened when we told her to be careful. I am surprised that you got expelled, but at least it looks like being married to Grabby is good for something after all, if it means you get to keep your magic. Professor Potsdam is currently filling in blue magic until she can find another teacher, and rumor is that she is not happy about that at all. Minnie and Jacob both send their regards and want me to pass along the note to write to them if you're ever feeling lonely in England. What is it like there? I know you've always wanted to travel, so it must be exciting, but is every girl really like they are in Butterfly Hall? I get that now that you're going to be a noble, they'll want you to be a proper lady and all, but don't forget that you're my friend first and Grabby's wife second. Don't let them change you into too much of a proper lady. Remember, you can't play soccer in a dress. Write to me daily if you can. Potsdam hasn't given me any new roommates, so it's kind of lonely, especially at night. At least there's only one more year until graduation, and then I am totally going to visit you in your giant British castle. I expect I'll be getting my own room. Virginia. I smiled to myself, but inside I couldn't help but read between the lines. Virginia was lonely. First, I had left to live with Hieronymous, and then Ellen had left. Virginia, who had grown up in a noisy and active household, finally found herself all alone. I knew that her social circle was bigger than mine had been, so hopefully her final year at Iris Academy wouldn't be too lonely. I can't help but look around the room and sigh. I know that I'm surrounded by fineries, and I don't really have the right to complain or ask for anything, but at the same time, I couldn't help but wish I had a true friend to keep me company. At least I had Hieronymus's heartbeat to keep me grounded at night, and, hopefully, that would be enough until I got to see him again.